Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Bucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees on Roger Goodell. Yeah, money like this and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like this and I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right, shout out to the mighty Who Dat Nation. Welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in the live. Just hitting you guys with a late stream, man. I had a lot of stuff going on with the family, traveling. I didn't want another day to go by where I wasn't able to kind of rap with you guys, and a lot happened today. So big ups to you guys. Appreciate you being in the live on this one, man. Just making it count. That's right. OG got it. A late night special. There you go, baby. Shout out to OG. Young City Night Ward. Big ups to you. Marley Mall said, Q, what you doing up there late? Well, brother, sometimes that's how it go, brother. How you doing? L-Dub K-Man. What's happening, bro? It's good to see you. Kathleen, shout out to the Queens up in this thing as well. Much love to everybody, man. Listen. Fam, y'all see all the Saints, the stuff the Saints have done, but most of the stuff is just additions to the practice squad. Saints attempting to kind of get that stuff together, and the mood and temperament of the Saints, man, is really impressive, fam. Just to put it plainly, to see what Kellen Moore is doing in terms of him changing the team. He put J.T. Gray in the street. You know, that's... Elvin Kamara was not a fan of that. He wasn't a supporter or a liker of the move with JT Gray. We know JT was dealing with an injury, but this is a different type of Saint. This is a different type of Saints team, obviously, right? To see what they got going on, man. The way Kellen Moore is moving and grooving, it's a different type of team, man. And he means business. He's trying to improve upon this team. But anyway, man, let's get right into the news, man. If y'all have any questions, hit the chat. Please feel free to hit the like button upon entry. Also the sub button if you're not a sub up, and the share button as well. We up in this thing, man. Shout out to you guys. OG Jerry says, Q, want to make sure y'all all right. Had to do, yeah. Yeah, Jerry. Everything all right, my brother. We all good, man. You know, we all good. You hear how I sound, bro. We all good. Ain't no complaining or nothing going on, brother. It's just, you know, one step at a time, every time, baby. That's how it go, man. That's the wise words of Reverend Saint. One step at a time, baby. But anyway, let's get right into it, man. The Saints, Mickey Loomis, Slick Mickey, announced that the club terminated, not waived, not released, but terminated the contract of defensive back J.T. Gray and signed a defensive tackle, Coziah Izzard, to say his name. I hope I'm saying that right. Coziah Izzard, who, you know, to the practice squad. A lot of moves by the Saints today, and we'll go over a few things and talk about them. J.T. Gray, he was an undrafted guy, came in with the Saints back in 2018. 3-time All-Pro selection, first team All Honors in 21-24, second team in 2019, 4-year special teams captain. Appeared in 17 games last year, led the NFL with 26 special teams tackles, career high. 16 solo coverage stops, led the league. And in his career, he's appeared in 98 regular season games, posted 93 special team stops, 2 punt blocks, fumble recovery, recorded 14 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 pass breakup, and a forced fumble. J.T. Gray was the epitome of what can happen to you or for you when you lay it on the line. You are a solid contributor in the special teams. But like I've said this before on previous renditions, is that the Saints don't have a problem putting guys like some of these special teams aces in the street if they cannot contribute in other rooms from which they come, if you know what I mean. This happened. Chris Banjo was a phenomenal special teams player. Chris Banjo was also put in the street by the Saints. What was the brother, the cornerback that went up to the Jets? What was his name? Hardy? Was it Hardy? Y'all remember Hardy? Put his name in there. Hardy was also another one of those guys who was a really solid contributor in terms of special teams. But what happened? He couldn't play the cornerback position that well, and they put him in the street. It wasn't contract or an issue or whatever, but we'll see what they do with J.T. Gray. But at the end of the day, it has to be, even though you have phenomenal ability from the special teams room, they're expecting you to contribute from which room you come from. If you're a defensive back or safety, contributing from that room, cornerback, or wherever you come from, linebacker, to be able to contribute onto the team if injuries starting to hit. So, but if J.T. Gray is not the guy, they're going to be looking at other guys to contribute from that room as well. But this is a very interesting development, right? You see J.T. Gray. So I just want to, Justin Hardy. Thank you. There you go, OG. Justin Hardy. This happens. Yeah. What's up, Gundam? You're right. He ain't playing around. And like I said, we talked about this before with some of these players. And I said that with Chris Banjo and Justin Hardy and now J.T. Gray, you have to be able to not only do what you do phenomenally from a special team standpoint, but you also you have to contribute solidly as the same way you are in the special teams room, in the room in which you come from. And if you can't do that, then you will be kindly escorted to the door. The Saints are elevating that standard on this team. Kellen Moore, like when we looked at the cuttings that, of guys like Isaiah Foskey, a high-ranking second-round pick, put in the street. They didn't even claim him for the waiver wire. Isaiah Foskey the Saints didn't even claim him to put him on the practice squad. We know he needed a lot of practice, but the Saints didn't even claim him for the practice squad. Isaiah Foskey, as of right now, 11:48 Central Time, Monday, almost going into Tuesday, is still an undrafted free agent. They're not playing around. Then you had DeMarco Jackson. He got claimed by somebody else, obviously. But some of these guys, man, the team is obviously serious and are making moves and are looking at every aspect of appearing. And it's a high standard. If J.T. Gray played really solidly in the special teams room. And be that Elvin Kamara, one of my favorite players on the Saints team, is upset about J.T. being put in the street. Hey, man, listen, you're just a player. And guys got to elevate their level of play, because this is what he's doing. He's elevating the room and demanding more out of the team. And that's how you get guys to win, when you command and demand more out of them. That's how we start elevating it. Because remember, the example that the Possum left in the last 4 years when he was running the team was a very low floor. So when the next coach come in with high standards, he has to pull these guys up to his level of thinking, because they were accustomed to 4 years of effery and screwing up and all this nonsense that was going on over the last 4 years. They literally got used to being a losing football team. Some kind of way, this new coach has got to do something to change all that paradigm. So I see him doing things like this. But JT Gray was also dealing with an injury as well. You know, he was hurt and coming out of it, and the Saints have elected to go in a different direction. But on the behalf of the entire organization, they want to thank JT Gray for everything that he's given them over the past 7 years. Grateful for his contributions both on and off the field, and wish him and his family nothing but best moving forward. So who would more than likely become the next JT Gray, like there was a Chris Banjo and a Justin Hardy, a JT Gray? The Saints always develop those guys. Potentially Isaiah Stallberg could be one of those guys when you look at it. Isaiah Stallberg could be a special teams phenom. I think in part Rejon Wright, it made the team because his potential in terms of what he can add to the special teams room could be there as well. And there are some other people that can contribute there that could possibly take that position and that role. So the Saints are, you know, they do what they do. They continue to develop guys in the special teams room with Phil Galliano, the former assistant special teams coach from last year, taking over the team and putting his mark on special teams. So like I said, I always liked Phil Galliano's style. I thought he was a good special teams mind, him having his own hand-picked kicker. Blake Grupe kicking out of, he's going to be one of the young, really good kickers in the league, very high looking at that. And Stallberg and other guys that can contribute. Jalen Ford, these guys can add value there in the special teams room. Velus Jones Jr. And Trey Palmer as returners also add another level to the speed and versatility of the Saints in the special teams room. And we talk about the offense and defense, fam, but very shortly, perhaps the Saints special teams can come along. When you have the speed the Saints have on the offensive side of the ball, that translates to special teams insofar as our return units. So if we can get the blocking going on where we can get some good returns where our returners can flip the field and have us starting at the 40 to 50-yard line, or perhaps every now and again, we can rip one for a touchdown on the kick return, the punt return. That'll be stellar. You know what I mean? But that's so shout out to JT Gray, man. You know, this is something the Saints do from time to time, man. They decide to pivot and go in a different direction, but they have always been able to develop special teams aces. We've seen them do it with the kick returners. We've seen them do it with Deontay Harris-Harty, turning him into a Pro Bowl kicker. Returner. We've seen them do it. Rashid Shaheed. We've seen them do it like the previous three guys I talked about in Hardy, Banjo, and JT Gray. Some other guys will step up, but JT Gray, shout out to him. But Kellen Moore is changing this thing, man. He's moving this team in a direction. And I'm not saying JT Gray wasn't good enough to be a part of it, but obviously he has some plans, you know, as we kind of barrel forward. All right, let's talk about some of these additions, right? Here's a player the Saints added to the practice squad today, 6'3", 300-plus pounder defensive tackle from Penn State, Coziah Izzard. And what's going on with him is he was very interesting. Like, he was a undrafted free agent, but he has a ton of college experience. Guy played over 50 games in college. It's just amazing. And this is and if you look at some of the Saints undrafted guys that they're bringing in here, these guys are experienced college veterans. They have played in a lot of games in college, right? I can't say that about Tyler Shuck, but, you know, some of the young guys the Saints bringing in, they do have, especially our undrafted guys, have a lot of college experience, which is helps the development of these players insofar as bringing them onto the team and helping them have shorter learning curves because of the fact that they've been around so much football actively. But 51 games with 7 starts, finishing his career with 78 tackles, 17 and a half stops for a loss, which indicates that this guy penetrates. He gets inside into the backfield, and he's back there making plays with 17 and a half stops for a loss. He's getting behind the line of scrimmage and making plays. 9 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. And during his final season with Penn State, appeared in 15 games and posted 31 tackles, 15 of which were solo, and 7 stops for a loss, 2 sacks. So the Saints, this is Coach Staley, forever looking for talent, forever looking for people. Got to give it to Staley. Staley always turning over rocks and looking behind closed doors and trying to find talent to add to that defense. And the Saints built a pretty respectable, practice squad, to be quite honest with you. All right. Anyway, let's keep it going, man. Let me share another one with you guys. The fact that this happened with the Saints as well. They worked out 8 players today. Saints brought in a large group of free agents on Monday for workouts. And of course, this is the week, practice week, as we get down to doing the breakdown on finding out about the Arizona Cardinals. And, the fact that the Saints are 6-point underdogs. They're 6-point underdogs in their own building to the Arizona Cardinals. So they just opened up out the gate, labeling the Saints as can't beat the Arizona Cardinals. And listen, no disrespect to Arizona. Arizona have a respectable team on paper. They really do. They have a very respectable team on paper. Connor, who's a hell of a running back. He's a very productive running back for them. Trey Benson, the backup running back, is very good. Marvin Harrison's son is over there. They have another group of good wide receivers, a decent tight end. The offensive line is okay. Defense, Calais Campbell is back with the Cardinals over there to help out with the defense. They got several really talented defensive prospects, including Buda Baker. So they have some interesting talent. Would be a good early test for the Saints. Vegas has the Saints as 6-point underdogs currently. Will that change? Probably, maybe not, but if so, doesn't matter. The Saints can flip the script and the paradigm by simply playing good football. And Kellen Moore is making these cuts and these moves and attempt to bring as much talent in to the team. And I expect him to be active throughout the season looking for talented players. But anyway, this is the look. Jamon Davis is a linebacker from Detroit. Wide receiver Jaquan Jackson, defensive end Ja Joyner, linebacker Iku Leota, quarterback Tommy Mellott, linebacker Keenan Paley, wide receiver Brendan Rice, that's Jerry Rice's son, and defensive end Kenny Williskis. I hope I said that right. So a couple of these guys the Saints brought in, and Davis, who's a former first-round pick for the Commanders back in 21 out of Kentucky, final of his 4-year contracts. He declined his year in Washington. Yeah, Jamon Davis from the Lions. He's from the Whataburgers, the Washington Whataburgers. But Davis then caught on with the Packers practice squad a few weeks ago. The Vikings signed him to an active roster, then waived him. And then, of course, Davis is New York released Davis coming out of the preseason. So he'll be interesting. Rice, he's a 7-round pick by the Chargers back in 2024, signed a 4-year, $4.1 million contract with the Chargers, but the Chargers opted to waive Rice coming out of the preseason. Son of the Hall of Famer Jerry Rice. In 2024, Rice was active for 3 games for the Chargers, but didn't record a stat during his college career at Colorado and USC. He caught 118 passes for over 1,800 yards, 21 touchdowns over the course of 4 seasons with 43 games. Now, I don't know what the 40 time is on Jerry Rice's son. I have to maybe look that up to see what his 40 time is. But the Saints did look at Brendan Rice, and are supposed to be looking at Brendan Rice. I don't think they signed him to anything, but he is 6'3". I don't think his 40 time is much. I don't think he's fast enough. He might not be fast enough to be a Saint player. Hold on, fam. Let me look this up right quick. You got to be fast, to be a member of our damn team. Let me see, Brendan Rice. I don't think he's fast at all. Let me see what his 40 time is. Oh yeah, he's a 4.5. he's a 4.5. Oh, yeah, he ain't fast enough. Yeah, he's a 4.50, fam. That ain't gonna cut it. You can't be a 4.50 here. You can't. That ain't gonna cut it. A 4.50, that ain't gonna cut it, baby. You're too damn slow. That's right. You're gonna slow the team down, baby. We got a track team here, and you're just too damn slow. 4.50. All right. So anyway, man, these are some of the players the Saints had brought in, and some of these guys the Saints actually signed. Saints signed former quarterback who's already drawing Taysom Hill comparisons. Shout out to NOLA.com. They put the scoop down. Saints may find their next Taysom. The Saints signed, they planned on signing, but they actually signed it according to the reports that we got, that Tommy Mellott to the practice squad, and he was drafted in the 6th round by the Raiders as a wide receiver despite his selection. The 23-year-old did not make the Raiders 53-man roster and was waived this last week. It remains to be seen how the Saints plan to use him in the gadget role similar to Hill, But NFL Network's Tom Pelissero brought up the comparison when he first reported the transaction. Hill, meanwhile, will miss out at least 4 games of the season, as the 35-year-old is still on the physically unable to perform list while he recovers from a serious knee injury. Now, this is the thing about the Tommy kid. His stats are actually pretty phenomenal, man, to be honest with you, of what he did. And let me show you, man, some of the stats that this dude did, man. He's actually recorded some of the stats from his college career. This is from the MontanaSports.com. This is the paper that, the online news site that reported that the Montana State standout, and Butte native is being signed to the Saints practice. They're very proud of that. And look at his production. He's 6 feet, 208 pounds. When I was looking at tape of Tommy Mellott, I think his name is, or Mellott, whatever it is, but Mellott, when I was looking at his tape, I seen, a little Julian Edelman, I want to say, because he's a guy, tough as nails, catches the ball, has a lot of speed, intelligent, like a lightning bug, like a guy that can just versatile. He has the speed, he can throw, he can move, he can do a lot of things well. Now he's not as girty as or thick like a Taysom, right? But he can do a lot of things. His tape was very impressive, to be honest with you. But they were trying him at different positions, and I think that might be a good thing. But they comparing him to Taysom Hill insofar as his versatility as a quarterback and a utility knife. But his numbers were, dare I say, more impressive as a quarterback than what Taysom Hill did at BYU, what this kid did at Montana State. He's second in school history in terms of victories. He won 33 victories. As a quarterback, he rushed 43. He had 43 rushing touchdowns, which ranks second in his little school. He threw for over 3,500. Where he had over 3,500 rushing yards, which is also second. And he threw for over 5,800 yards, which is fifth. He had 53 passing touchdowns, which is fifth. And he scored a total of 96 total touchdowns. And if you look at the tape, the guy can throw it, he can run it, he can move around. Like I say, he's undersized. And he did play in a conference, which, a lot of people wasn't looking at him because he doesn't have the measurables. He's not a tall quarterback. And that's why they decided to use him in different ways. Like, let's change him into a wide receiver and do this kind of stuff. But the kid can move, man. He can play. He's he's a lightning bug. He's one of these spark plug type players. And the Saints, I don't know if you could say they're looking for him to replace Taysom Hill, but this could very well be. I don't know could this guy be the guy. We'll see how they use him. He missed camp totally, and that goes Tom Pelissero's tweet. But it'll be interesting. Like he said, signed him. He was a 6th-round pick by the Raiders. Used that wide receiver, and we'll see what they got going on with the kid. But he appeared in 3 preseason games last month with the Raiders, catching 2 passes, accumulated 63 kickoff return yards. He had 42-yard kickoff return in preseason against the 49ers in Las Vegas on August the 16th. So he does also have, like we talked about, special teams application there. And the bottom line is Tommy Mellott is an interesting player because the Saints want to have a collection of players that can be able to do multiple things. And you can see how the Saints roster set up, man. It's going to be interesting. But like I said, I kind of joked about Brendan Rice not being fast enough. But let me Google Tommy Mellott's his 40 time. Hold on, fam. Let me see what Tommy Mellott's 40 time is. Give me just a second. Let me see. If anybody know that, put it in the chat. What his 40 time is. I don't know if he has one. Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, what's his 40 time? Oh yeah, 4.39 at the pro day. This dude is. Oh yeah, see, yeah, he fits. So you got to be a fast player. Tommy Mellott ran a 40-yard dash in 4.39 at his pro day, a time that significantly contributed to his selection by the Raiders as a unique playmaker with an exceptional athletic profile. So, yeah, He also had a 41-inch vertical and a 10-4 broad jump, and that really put him on the scouts' radar. So they were looking to kind of turn him from a quarterback, because they really didn't need that skill set, to a wide receiver / special teams return man with that kind of application. So this is an interesting and unique player, this Tommy Mellott character. It's going to be interesting to see just how they use him in the system, but adding them to the practice squad, these are very interesting players, man, that they're throwing in there. So we'll see how the Saints utilize Mr. Mellott, but bringing him on the practice squad, man, that's going to be interesting to say the least, man. And also talk about it too, about the fact that the Saints did sign a linebacker, Iku Leota, following the workout. And as Mike Grafalo reported, the Saints are signing them, Iku Leota, to the practice squad following the successful workout. So the Saints practice squad looked like this: Kevin Austin, Dallas Beanham, Terrell Burgess, Elliot Davison, Hunter Deckers, Fadil Diggs, Jake Hayner, Easton Kilty, Jaden Price, Nephi Sewell, Charlie Smith, who's the international player you're allowed to have a slot for in your practice squad, Jack Stahl, Trayton Welch, Jonah Williams, Cedric Wilson, Coziah Izzard, and Iku Leota. That's 17. So Leota was signed. He's 26-year-old, signed with the Panthers as an undrafted free agent out of Auburn following the 2023 draft. Waived out of the preseason and re-signed to the practice squad. He was cut by the Panthers once again and made his way onto the Steelers practice squad in October. He re-signed with the Steelers on the futures deals, but were among the final roster cuts. So he appeared in 3 games for the Panthers, Steelers, and recorded 5 total tackles, including 3 tackles for a loss and 1 sack. So you're bringing this player onto the team. It'll be interesting. He's 6'4", 260 pounds. So you add him to the roster and bring him on to see what he can do for you, on the special team. So the Saints adding some value there. Like I said, as we go to their website and kind of look at their special teams right here, as you can see, some of these guys, let me see if I can get this a little bigger for the family members here. So there you go. That's a little bit better. Be able to see that. Kevin Austin, Dallas Beanham, Burgess, Davison, Deckers, Fadil Diggs, Jake Hayner, Coziah Izzard, Easton Kilty, Jaden Price, Nephi Sewell, Charlie Smith, Jake Stahl, Trayton Welch, Jonah Williams, Cedric Wilson, and they did not add quite yet this player, Iku Leota, to the practice squad. So the Saints trying to add some talent there, man, to be quite honest with you, to the team. So Nephi Sewell and Leota is the only 2 linebackers listed there, even though you have Jonah Williams, who could probably play a little bit of that if they needed him. But 2 linebackers on the practice squad if they need them, Nephi Sewell and now Iku Leota. So that's part of it. So the Saints just doing their due diligence, adding guys to the practice squad, doing what they're supposed to do to make sure that, they add talent there, and it's going to be interesting to see how it is going forward. So also, I don't think they added to the list here to update, the fact that the Saints assigned it to their practice squad. I don't see Tommy Mellett's name on there, so it might this list ain't totally as accurate as I want to see, because Mellott's supposed to be on here as well, and he's not. So they'll probably change it up. But anyway, we're gonna keep it going, man. Listen, this is but they got it. I don't even got it on the other one, because I think he signed later on. But anyway, it's very interesting, man. Some of these guys, and we'll see how they look going forward. Hey, how about this? The Saints debuted the new gold jerseys in the opener against the Cardinals, so that'll be pretty good. The Saints announced that the uniform combinations for the regular season matchup against the Cardinals, Saints will debut the game day gold alternative jersey for the first time. The jersey will be added to the team's traditional rotation of black and white and color rush this offseason. The Saints wore a gold jersey for 1 regular season game in their previous 58-year history. The Saints wore gold jerseys during the Week 15 home game against the Vikings back in 2002. They lost that game 32-31. The Saints totaled 255 yards and 2 touchdowns from a quarterback, Aaron Brooks, in that game, along with a 97-yard kick return by the beer man, Michael Thomas. So Michael Lewis. There you go. You can see a picture of Cam right there as well. and they got the game day gold with the black pants and the black helmet. And like I said, there's also the Saints need to create a Dark Vader uniform with black helmets, black jerseys, black pants, all black. We call it the Saint Dark Vader look. That would be fire. So we need to push that thought at them, man. We need to get on that Dark Vader, all black with the black helmet, black jersey with gold in it. You see what I'm saying? I would love that, man. But that's a good look, though. Have the gold jerseys back, man, with the black helmet. That'd be fire. So anyway, man, we'll be looking forward to that. And hopefully that can lead Saints have some visual pride as they go into defending the dome, because that's the main look. Saints must defend the dome against the Arizona Cardinals. Nothing else needs to be said about that. Defend your home. Defend your dome. All right, anyway, man, and let's keep on moving along, man. And just to kind of put that out there, man, about the Saints, man. And we're looking at some very interesting things here as we keep this moving forward. And this will be my last article right here to the fam. Y'all got any questions, throw it in the chat. Y'all hit the like button here as well, man. I want to be able to address some of the stuff that I've been hearing going into the offseason, that y'all been noticing. I've been kind of going not at the I ain't gonna say naysayers or people who do not think that the Saints is going to do anything, right? So let me show you this poll. Matter of fact, I might as well just show y'all this damn poll. Well, I got almost 1,000 people almost voted on this poll. If you haven't voted on the poll, I've been having this poll up here for a while, right? We've been having this poll up here for a while. And me personally, I've been kind of looking at this thing, and I've been saying that I wanted leaving it up, and I was going to go to this poll and talk about it leading up to the season. And pretty much what the poll is it's just 947 people voted on this poll currently. And the question was, how many wins do you think the Saints get this year? The poll will be on the next broadcast. And the four options are 5 to 8 wins, 9 to 12 wins, 1 to 4 wins, or 13 or more. And you can see over 900 people voted on this spectacular poll, and 48% of the family members that voted said 5 to 8 wins. 31% says 9 to 12 wins, right? 15% says 1 to 4, and just 6% says 13 or more. A lot of people don't believe the Saints will win 13 or more games, but realistically, they believe the tally is anywhere between 5 to 12 games in terms of wins. So that's the thing, even though most people said we'll get 5 to 8, the high being the 8, the low being the 5, of what we had last year. But family members asked me as of recent, I think we are between the 8 and 10 mark. That's where I will put myself. I know that's not the poll option there, but that's where I think we could be, depending on how the team gels. And like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, but what I'm looking at is the fact that, and I've said this before, and I've watched these other people make these comments about the Saints and how good the Saints could be and how bad the Saints are going to be based on the fact that Spencer Rattler's running the team and he's inexperienced, right? Then they use the talking point that he didn't win a game last year, but they never put the substance in why he didn't. They just say it and they don't give any depth to it. They just schmooze over the surface of it and keep it moving to make it a quick talking point or just to write an article fast. But the depth is, there's a reason why he didn't win any damn games that year. It's not making excuses for him, but the fact that he was a rookie, he was playing behind a bunch of backups that ain't know what they was doing, and a stupid ass coach ain't know what he was doing. So in the end, how does this guy with experience look when he has access to Alvin Kamara and all these other starters? With Eric McCoy in there holding down the center position, fussing at these guys, getting them together. The team looks different when Eric is there. When Elvin is there, when Rashid is there, and Chris Olave, when they have everybody. How does it look? And the fact that the idea, what is Kellen Moore trying to do? And the fact that nobody hasn't exclusively seen the Saints offense, right? They know exactly what kind of plays they're gonna roll out. What's the plays they're familiar with? All we've seen is a preseason playbook. Now in practice, we've seen a few plays here or there, right? A few plays, but they let you see what they want you to see. A lot of the real stuff is done when the reporters are not around. They kick the reporters out and they go behind closed doors and they run those. That's when they run their real stuff, when they don't want you to see it. Now, when the game starts coming up, the week 1 and so on and so forth, we'll be able to see what Kellen Moore has in store, what kind of offense he wants, or what kind of deviation or variation of the offense that he ran at Philly or with the Chargers or even the Cowboys. What is his mindset? What is he trying to do? Based on his personnel groupings, you can get an idea of what he's doing. He's not hiding that. The wide receivers are all fast wide receivers. No matter how the size of them, all of them can run. So that's letting you know that he's going to prioritize speed and getting the ball out fast. That's that, which means that put pressures on the defense, which makes it more unlikely that the defense going to want to crowd the line. That's how you neutralize or help out when you have an inexperienced quarterback play. If you can get the quarterback in a timing pattern and be able to get him to get the ball out to speedy receivers, that means something, especially if you can attack downfield. That creates space. And a space back like Alvin Kamara, that's all he needs, is space and opportunity, baby. Same with Kendre Miller. It opens up things for the running attack. It makes it easy on the quarterback too. So, and the Saints have an interesting group of players that they're going to roll out and use. Interesting packages. A lot of this stuff, like I said, we won't see the totality of what Kellen Moore is going to do until weeks into the season, like the first week, and they'll have a wrinkle, then another wrinkle, a couple of wrinkles later as the season progresses and the Saints kind of open up what they want to do. So it's going to be interesting from an offensive standpoint to see how the Saints offense will look. So I think a lot of these people are premature in their discussions about that without providing more in-depth analysis about why the team was where it is. And they never mention the head coach. Like the head coach don't mean nothing to the team or why they lost. If the head coach is stupid and dumb and don't know what the hell he do, the team's going to be like that. The Saints won 5 games last year, not because it was a bad football team. They had a stupid coach who didn't know what he was doing. You can't win in spite the coach. That is a very powerful point to make, and they never make the point like the Saints just didn't know what they was doing because the players was bad. The players are the reflection of the mindset of the head coach. That's common sense, but they never mention that. So I guess that's why Sports Coma is what it is, because we mention that before you give your goddamn prediction on why the Saints going to pick up Arch Manning, who ain't going to come out until 27. Anyway, let's hit this one, man. Saints' massive QB problem is much worse than you think. Here we go. The Saints lost quarterback Derek Carr to retirement. Good. Early this offseason, they haven't been able to replace him yet. They did replace him. The Saints had quite a competitive quarterback battle between Hainers, Rattler, and Shuck. The battle ended up coming down to Shuck and Rattler, with Rattler being named the starter for week 1. When Rattler has shown signs of improvement this season, he's likely going to be the worst starting quarterback in the league. If Shuck was a starter, the same could be said about him. Now, what is your thought process? What is the proof you have to talk about the man going to be the worst? You don't have a crystal ball. You don't know what the hell these guys are going to do. ESPN Cat Terrell recently discussed the Saints and identified the quarterback room as the biggest weakness on the Saints roster, but the issue might not be way bigger than everybody realizes. How is it weaker? They calling inexperience a weakness. Now, you might be inexperienced here, but a quarterback is an important part of the team. But how does the coach have the quarterback tied into the system? A lot of times, if you're small, and listen, let me say this, fam. The Saints have 3 former quarterbacks in key positions in their offense. Every layer from the head coach, a former quarterback in the NFL, the offensive coordinator's former quarterback that played in the NFL, and then the QB coach obviously is a former quarterback. So you have 3 quarterbacks that played in some professional capacity that understands how to talk to their quarterbacks. They understand the verbiage, like they're all in tune. This is a good mixture of people that have to be able to break down and give to the quarterback what they need to win. A team most of the time will run plays that the quarterback is comfortable with. Because I'm pretty sure when they have the meetings, when the quarterback meets with his QB coach and the offensive coordinator and the head coach, and the head coach is a former quarterback and offensive minded guy, then they're going to figure out what he likes to do. And they're going to also understand the fact that he played in 7 games last year, started 6 of the games, that they will have to, with any quarterback, needs a running attack, a solid tight end play, and blocking. We got to have blocking. We got to have blocking to run the ball. We have blocking to protect the quarterback. But I'm telling you, when you have 5 speedy wide receivers, he's planning on having a timing offense to get the ball out on time, on schedule. So they sitting up here saying we're going to sit on the line and blitz at Spencer Rattler and knock him around. Go for it. Try that out. See how it worked for you with that track team out there. So they're looking at inexperience as a weakness. These guys don't know, but at the same time, the Saints are young at certain spots. Like we got a new coach and we got inexperienced quarterbacks. We got a young, say inexperienced that much. I mean, he hadn't started but 7 games, played in 7 games, started 6 games. He does have some level of playing in at the position. He got knocked around behind a bad unit, an injured unit last year. He comes out here. He did some positive stuff in some camp, some other stuff he didn't do as well. The offense, the first team offense, I'll grant you that, did not look good with the vanilla or whatever they was running in preseason. It didn't look good. But it doesn't necessarily mean that whenever they switch to now to get ready for the Cardinals, that they can't gel and do something that they're more comfortable with. So what I'm basically saying is that Kellen Moore understands that he has inexperienced quarterbacks and how he needs to protect his quarterback insofar as having a running attack, blocking for passing and rushing, and a safety blanket tight end and wide receivers that can get down the field and stretch defenses. Because Spencer can't throw the ball. He's exhibited some accuracy is there, and he has a set of wheels if he needs to take off and get some. He can stress the defense if he needs to. Like I say, he don't just sit back there like Derek Carr would have Green and just sit back there and won't throw it and try to force the ball in the tight window or throw stupid ass passes. The guy will use his wheels. He'll take off. He'll run. So anyway, like I said, man, this thing about bad quarterbacks and all this kind of stuff. Saints' biggest weakness is the quarterback room. The Saints took their quarterback competition through the preseason, indication that neither Tyler Shuck nor Spencer Rattler had made an obvious case to win the job. Kellen Moore announced that Rattler won the job. Cat Terrell said that Saints didn't have a lot of depth at the skill positions last season because of injuries. This is true. That remains the case beyond Alvin Kamara, Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed. That means the team will need Rattler to step up big and elevate the rest of the offense. Rattler will do what he needs to do, meaning that if the offense needs to be elevated, it needs to be elevated as a team. Quarterback plays is going to make plays, but everybody has to step up. You got a young quarterback like a Spencer Rattler. Everybody got to elevate their play. I mean, for one, Juwan Johnson is making $10 million a year over the next 3 seasons. He's making $30 million combined. Like I always talk about, that's 12th in the NFL in terms of tight end money. That's a nice size contract, 10 a year. He has to play better. He has to block better. He has to catch them goddamn balls and not have the concentration drops that we've seen him have early on. Them concentration drops have to be a thing of the past. He has to be able to make the third down catches, and he got to secure the ball and also up his blocking. That all that has to work around the quarterback. The running attack, these guys have to step up. Everybody has to step up. It can't totally be on the shoulders of Spencer Rattler. That's the bottom line. Everybody has to step up in the offense. This is real. So anyway, while the quarterback position is weak, there are more wrinkles to this problem than personnel in the quarterback room. Rattler, the starter, doesn't have quality weapons to use. What do we mean? He has Chris Olave and Rashid at wide receiver, but he's practically he says they're practically all the proven weapons that Rattler will have. Elvin is a quality option at running back. He's a starter and a featured player, not a quality option. He's getting older. He's 30 years of age, and he isn't wearing down. What are you talking about, bro? Alvin Kamara is 30 years old. There is not a better conditioned athlete on the Saints than Alvin Kamara. He's not Christian McCaffrey worn down. Christian McCaffrey was a featured back in many years when he was with Carolina, when he was in San Francisco, when they had their run a couple of years ago. and he was handed the ball a lot. He was basically their offense, and they put it on him. Alvin Kamara over the Dennis Allen administration wasn't used in that way. He wasn't. And they couldn't even get him to where he needed to be in many cases. So he's not worn down. Alvin's the most conditioned player, the best conditioned player on the Saints team. He's not worn down. So I don't agree with that. And he's 30 like he's 60. Just turned 30. And like I said, man, it's just how they look at it. The offensive line is good, but not great. To make matters worse, Rattler and Shuck won't be able to play freely. Why not? No matter who's under center, the other will be breathing down their neck. The inability to play freely could hand the quarterback and further dig the Saints. What are we talking about here? The situation isn't good at all. I think this is just like one of these people run up in the theater and cry fire in the theater. It's not a thorough enough breakdown to talk about not much the case behind Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, like they chop liver. Chris Olave is a quality wide receiver. Rashid Shaheed is a quality wide receiver. We haven't seen the best of these guys yet. We've seen quality play. People forget the fantastic route running, the speed, and the phenomenal one-hand grabs that Chris Olave was doing before some bitches started hitting him in his helmet and concussing him. Rashid Shaheed's blazing speed to get out front of it. We've seen the misuse of it under Kubiak, under what's the other dude, Pete Carmichael. We've seen them people misuse these players for the last 4 years. But when you finally get somebody here who ran a decent offense, not once, not twice, but multiple times throughout his time as an offensive coordinator, when you see people like Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, Juwan Johnson, and others, that kind of makes you you're like, man, I can get these guys involved because I'm smart enough to know that if I can decoy Alvin Kamara and provide opportunities for other people like Kendre Miller, Vellis, Devin Neal, or I can do stuff with Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed and reverses or end arounds. Those guys can take the tops off of defense and provide opportunities for Velli, Cooks, Palmer, Tipton. You see, it would be cool to have a team full of Olaves or Shaheeds or Alvin Kamara, but you don't. So you just have to be smart in your usage and application of your star players to open up opportunities for their teammates. That's how you do it. Because they game plan for Olave or Rashid or Alvin, but they don't game plan for Tipton or Velli or any of these other guys. They don't game plan for those guys. So if Velli beats you, they'll live with it. You see what I'm saying? And that's how the application is. You stars shine, or they provide opportunities for their teammates. They take the attention where away from, for the defense to move and they functioning while on the other side of the field, these other guys are getting loose. But this article is not, no disrespect to the writer, but this is not enough information to bash upon the Saints because Rattler and Shuck were close in a competition battle. Granted, they didn't look good in the first team offense, but I'm smart enough to realize that they wasn't running Kellen Moore's offense. We don't know what that looks like yet. So I'll reserve judgment and talk about, they're just bad because the room is the worst in the NFL because they're quarterbacks, they're inexperienced quarterbacks, and that's the worst thing. But put Aaron Rodgers up there in Pittsburgh, I ain't gonna even go there. I ain't gonna even touch it. But anyway, like I said, but this is the type of stuff that you hearing that's like yelling fire in the goddamn movie theater about the Saints situation. And I've been calmly telling people over and over again about that. Hey man, let's just see what they got. You ain't seen what them people doing, man. What are you talking about? You haven't seen nothing yet. You just seen shit in practice. And you're seeing shit in the preseason, which is not even a real playbook. So, I mean, I know it'll take time to gel, but at the same time, I know for a effing fact that the Saints are a better team than anything I've seen from Dennis Allen. Dennis Allen wasn't a real coach. He didn't have any responsibility, any intelligence on the offensive side of the ball. He was a moron, an idiot, and a liar. So in the end, man, like I said, man, we all know the Saints special teams are going to be strong. The defense was strong all damn preseason, and the offense is doing some catching up. But get this, hasn't Kellen Moore been making moves for it? He changed, like we talked about, better backups. And we had that discussion about getting better backups and bringing them in here to help do a better job for the Saints. And the man proceeded to move better backups onto the damn team. Kelvin Banks Jr., phenomenal. Like I'm going to say it again, because people telling me Q is a rebuild, and I'm saying it's not a rebuild, it's a remodel. Because when you rebuild, you usually tear everything down and build something up anew. They're not building up anything anew. They put a new leader over the team. They put another quarterback there, but they're still veteran players that have been with the team for a long time that's in key positions. So it's not a rebuild, it's a remodel. It's a remodel. And there's nothing wrong with that, because what you had before was an idiot. Like I always say, if you have a bad leader, you're not going anywhere. How many times we've seen multi-billion-dollar corporations, or really corporations that made money but didn't go as far as they could have went because they had a stupid ass CEO on top of the team that mismanaged the company's funds. The moment they sold the company to somebody responsible, they went from millions to billions. That happens all the time in the business world, because it's all about organization being organized, and it's all about imagination and organization. If you got the imagination to be able to organize your team in a more effective manner and know where you need to focus to fix certain things on your program, then you're going to win. And if you're a dummy, you're not going to have the same effect. You're not going to maximize like you could, like that other guy, because he got his shit in check. The Saints are not devoid of talent. They always had talent. They didn't have any leadership. And that's the problem. You can't win without a real leader. We ain't talking about Demario Davis. I'm talking about on top of the team. Because even though as good as Demario Davis is, he was down with Dennis Allen's F stuff. When players didn't like Dennis Allen, he was sitting up here rallying around Dennis Allen. He didn't challenge him. He didn't challenge Dennis Allen and say, hey, man, you got to stop this. You backstabbing the team. He didn't do none of that. He didn't challenge Dennis Allen. He didn't. He helped Dennis Allen march everybody off the fucking volcano. That's what he did. So in the end, that's why I said, and then they start placating and making excuses for why they failed. Winners don't do that. Winners be pissed off like Lattimore was, like Mike Thomas was, like Elvin was. That's why they held this money back and talked about Mickey in that press conference talking about some apology nonsense. Y'all put one in the chat. Y'all remember that. Remember I pinpointed that? And they paid him later on. But in the end, what I'm saying is, the bottom line is, a winner's not cool with losing, because you know what kind of environment you're supposed to have to win. You can't have bullshit and non-accountability and think you're going to do something. It don't work that way. So this guy is serious about something. All we can do is wait and see what he does. Anyway, before I cut y'all loose, man, y'all do me a service. Hit that like button. It's 150 people in the stream right now at 12:35 a.m. Central Time, and I appreciate you guys talking Saints with me late. I'm up late. Y'all guys up late. Y'all must have couldn't sleep, but you know what, baby? I love the Saints. I know y'all love the Saints. We want to see the Saints win. Put one in the chat for that. Hit the like button for that, man. And that's what I'm talking about, baby. I'm trying to counteract this noise. Anyway, this is the unofficial depth chart according to the Saints website. You can see, let's focus on the offensive line, right? Kelvin Banks Jr. Let me go here with the draft, because I got to give credit what credit due. I think this was a very solid draft. Saints drafted 9 players. 8 of the players made the active roster. 1 player, Fadil Diggs, is on the practice squad. He only didn't make the team because Chris Rumph, Chris Rumph the third, I think it is, or the second, whatever. Chris Rumph beat him out for the spot, but had that not been the case, Fadil would have made it too, and all 9 of the draft picks would have made the team, right? Which is stellar, which means the future is bright, because you had really good players, talented players in spots where older players are. Danny Stutzman for Demario Davis once he retires, Jonas Sanker for Blackman, who's under a 1-year deal. Sanker's there. Quincy Riley, if injuries happen, he's another fantastic player. Devin Neal, who's one of the 4 running backs the Saints have. Matavo, 6'8", 260-pound, really good tight end from, college tight end from UCLA, who has some good value. Kind of shitty offense he played in last year. Didn't maximize his value, but he did what he could do. So with that being said, Kellen Moore did a good job of drafting, finding out what he needed to do. He kind of figured out the offense later on into preseason, because we was asking where the big wide receiver at. He was just batting it away. Then he goes get 6'5", 200-pound plus Devine Valley, who runs a 4.47 in the 40. He goes and get Trey Palmer off the waiver wire, who's a speedster from LSU, who runs good routes, can catch the ball, and is a blazer as well. The offensive line, he got depth with the offensive line. He traded for Asim Richards from the Dallas Cowboys. He traded for Luke Fortner by giving up Colin Sanders, who was going to cut, but he got a player for him to improve his backup center position. He even claimed Xavier Truss off of the waiver wire, and then the development of Torres Ellis-Simpkins. So they've added better backups for some of the players that we had to fortify the offensive line. They have a good core, a good group of speedy wide receivers right now. Of course, the reporter, I won't get too hard on him, but he talked about Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed being the top people. Right, and those are the 2 name brands. We know Brandon Cook's a little later in the game, but still a solid veteran if you need him to be for depth purposes. We know Devine Valley had a solid rookie year, and they're looking for him as an older player to be able to continue to contribute. Mason Tipton he's going to be special for us this year. And Trey Palmer has special teams application as well and could help you in the wide receiver room. So they have a lot of, talented players that can function in a wide open system. And then, of course, like I said, the running backs, Elvin, Kendre, Velas, who's a kick returner who has good speed as well, and Devin Neal, who's special. I just think that how Kellen Moore is doing this thing is interesting, even to the point where most teams carry a 3rd quarterback, and he said, "Nah, we're gonna have 2 quarterbacks on the active roster." Now we'll see how things change as we move forward, but you can see what he's attempting to do: a streamlined team that's fast, that's hard to plan for, and speed kills, that mentality. Which means that if he can open this up and turn it into a fun game, and have them to be able to not only just take teams off because they, take teams head off because they fast and they can stretch the field, but that also opens up opportunities for the running game so they can be able to do what they got to do. And in the end, all I can say is that it appears to be a very interesting system that he's setting up to run. We've seen what it looked like in Philly, where they were more run dominant because of Saquon Barkley. He just became this beast, and they just put it all on his shoulders, and he made life a lot easier for them. I don't know if that's what we're going to see with Alvin Kamara, because you don't really need to do that. I mean, with what you got, but I think Alvin Kamara is due for a big year this year, and I think they talk about the quarterbacks, and the quarterback is important, but AK-41 is ready for a breakout year. I'm saying the guy never had 1,000 yards in the season. I'm thinking this year he can have 1,200 if he stays healthy. The line does what it's supposed to do and opens up. Man, Alvin Kamara could have 1,200 yards rushing this year. I mean, he's a phenomenal guy. You mix in Kendre, who is the healthiest we ever seen. He looked very good in preseason and in the training camp. So there's a lot of stuff from an offensive standpoint to be kind of happy for. Now, of course, we know Trevor Penning's dealing with the issue. We talked about that before on the previous show. Is who's better at this point as a guard right now? Is it Dylan Redunce, Torres Ellis-Simpkins, or Trevor Penning? Right now, Penning is not he's done all right, but he's just started doing that. These other guys have been doing that, and right now they look better than him at guard. So we're going to see what it looks like. Plus, Cesar Ruiz struggled, and it's good because people notice he struggled. He struggled in preseason against backups. Torres Ellis-Simpkins is here. If Ruiz suffers and opens the door for people to chase after his quarterback, man, that won't last long before Cesar Ruiz is facing getting benched. So it's time for him to step up and do what he's supposed to do. So we're putting the heat on some of these guys to develop and do what the hell they're supposed to do. Because if they do that, if the line solidifies like it's supposed to be, we should be able to do some positive things. That's why I put our totals anywhere between 8 to 10 games, based on the maturation of the team. The good news is that we got the coach to do it, and if he keeps making moves like this and adding pieces like he's doing, the team, you'll see an accelerated growth from the team very fast. And of course, you also have the underdog gene working for you because the entire NFL is calling you the worst team. Like I said early in the show, the Saints are 6-point underdogs to the Cardinals in their own damn building. So the disrespect is coming your way, right? You're considered the worst team in the NFL, and we ain't play a damn game. You are considered the team that's going to end up getting a quarterback that ain't coming out next year. He coming out the following year. That's how stupid this shit is. Until we play one game, they look at it. NFC South, the Buccaneers going to win it again. Followed by Atlanta, Carolina. See, this is a weird script from the Groundhog Day where they just repeating and just basically regurgitating talking points from last year. It won't happen that way. It's not the same. You can't say the Saints going to win 3 games or 5 games. And last year, the only reason why they had so many lame-ass win totals is because we supposed to win that Philadelphia game. The Philadelphia game, there were a couple of games the Saints should have won, they lost because they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They didn't execute. They didn't make the right decision. They didn't make the halftime adjustments. You see, like my Tigers did. I ain't gonna even. I ain't gonna start bragging about my damn LSU Tigers, y'all. Y'all know the Tigers whooped that. I ain't gonna say they whooped that ass, but I'm telling you, people, everybody and their mama came out talking about Clemson in Death Valley. It's the LSU gonna lose again, and what they did, LSU came out, and that first half, they played. The defense was good. The offense wasn't there. They didn't adjust, and Brian Kelly was cool. He ain't pound no tables. But Coach Kelly went in that locker room and he tore into him. He tore him to him, and you could see he tore into him because when they came out in the second half, that's why they say football is a game of adjustments. LSU made them adjustments offensively, went out there and attacked that Tiger defense and got after that Tiger offense. And of course, they was trying to cheat us. They took a touchdown off the board and they called, oh, that was a bad play. No, they was trying to cheat and it didn't work. If it did, it would have been 24-10 on their ass. But it was a good win for LSU. Congratulations to my fighting Tigers, baby. That's healing. That's what the hell I'm talking about. All right, anyway, man, I'm back, fam. I had to jump into my Tiger bag right quick, but I'm back with the black and gold, baby. Anyway, man, listen, shout out to Brent, man. He says Caesar salad, man. Thank you,
I'm
Brent.
gonna say thank you very much. Picking me up, bringing me back to this. Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
She might call me Santa friend, but I'm the cleanup man.
The cleanup man. He'll sweep your girlfriend off the feet. The reason I know so much about him is because he's moved up an old girl of mine.
Swept her right off her feet and into the jag.
Oh man, that never gets old. Shout out to you, Brent. Thank you, man, for the super chat, man. All right, big ups, man. And Boo said trouble anyway. So anyway, shout out to y'all, man. What's up, brother Reginald? Brian, big ups to y'all, man. Appreciate you. All right, John said, what's up, John said, let's not forget we have not seen Kamara in this offense yet, and he's usually a large part. Thank you, John. Let's give John a round of applause for common sense Saints family members. Good Lord. Jesus. Come on. Fam, it's the truth. And that's the thing that's like all of this gloom and doom talk around the Saints. Fam, they have not showed the I've seen people writing these articles and they're not putting the full weight of what's happening with the team. They've never mentioned the fact that if you don't have leadership at the head coach level and the guy, Dennis Allen never had a plan here. What was the Saints' offense identity? What was the Saints' offensive identity the last 4 years? Can anybody tell me? Seriously? They didn't even have an offensive identity. For the 4 years he was here, the Saints offense had no identity. People was telling me that the identity of the Saints team was the defense. The defense can't score a bunch of points every Sunday to help you win games. The defense can only get the ball back for your help out. The offense has to carry the day. The offense has to put touchdowns on the board. They have to put touchdowns on the board to give you a chance to win. The defense has its part, but the offense has to lead the team. The offense has to lead the team. The offense has to put touchdowns on the board. They have to. The defense ain't gonna get pick sixes every damn game or fumble returns for touchdowns every game. They're not gonna do it. The offense has to carry the day. And our offense didn't do that. Guys in and out of it. The line was, I mean, it was just a bunch of stuff. They never mentioned. I'm like, how these guys talk about this stuff and they never mention the head coach who had no plan. They never decipher the man. They never break him down on the petri dish and talk about how he it was bad. It was bad. The Saints didn't have an offensive identity to play behind. The guy wouldn't go over there when the offenses were struggling. He wouldn't change out coaches and see if another guy can do better with the offensive line. Let's change you out and put your assistant, see how you doing. The guy couldn't get mad because he wasn't doing his effing job anyway. If he asking for a change. None of that. None of that. They said, you're going to make a change, make a change. How many weeks went past people? Even the reporters was asking Dennis Allen when he was going to make it. He never made a change. Didn't force nobody to do nothing. Sat on his ass and watched the team fall through the floor and thought he didn't actually had the audacity to think that his stinking ass was going to be able to survive a 7-game losing streak. Got on a show with Jay Glazer and said some bullshit about he didn't fail. They just didn't want him no more. That's what kind of bullshit this is. No, man. That's no. Talk about when you talk about the failure of the 4 years, talk about the head coach on top of the team and the fact that it was his goddamn game plan. It was his stupid ass blueprint. He created that. He's the leader of the team. They never mention that. And that's really sad. Can't tell all the players this, that, and the bullshit. And they never mention the head coach and his plan, the effed up plan. Didn't have a goddamn plan. No offensive identity the whole damn time he was here. So, I mean, anyway, the bottom line is you won't have that with Kellen Moore. You'll have access to Elvin. Eric McCoy is healthy. Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, these guys are there. Juwan Johnson is there. And they got good backups that do well. They complement their stars well. They complement the stars well. Kendre Miller complements Elvin well. So does Devin Neal. Mason Tipton complements his wide receiver room. Devon Valley's a big wide receiver. We've seen what he did with Coach Payton last year. I can't see why he can't bring that here. And listen, J.T. Gray, who we know is a hardworking player. Everybody loves J.T. Gray. Everybody respects J.T. Gray. The Saints put J.T. Gray in the street. Now, and they terminated his contract. Now, we know he was dealing with injuries and all this kind of stuff. But the mindset of the team going forward is that we need more out of our players. We need more out of the players. What's the number one player right now who's not giving all they can to become better? You can't say that about Trevor Penning. Penning doing all he can to get better. Who ain't doing what they can to be better? Y'all know who it is. They got to step up, man. And this is the year where them type of players get exposed. You're not going to be sitting around here collecting a goddamn check in 2025 on Kellen Moore's squad. All them guys are gone. The Isaiah Foskey's and all these other guys gone. You gotta earn it here. And I'm happy for that. All right. Anyway, man, shout out to you guys. Appreciate y'all for being on the live, man. Much love to y'all, man. Yeah, keep chopping wood. That's what that asshole used to say, man. I despise that guy, man. All right. Ultra Volva says our offensive pocket has been weak. It's a lot going on, fam. We're going to see how it all goes. Mr. O says Q with the midnight breakfast report. You here for it. Shout out to you, Mr. O. All right. Yes, indeed. Brother Jerry Covington says Foskey. Foskey is still a free agent right now. The Saints, listen, not only did Foskey get cut by the Saints, but he didn't get claimed by the Saints. He didn't get claimed by anybody. Foskey is an unrestricted free agent right now. He didn't get claimed by anybody. And by the way, Peyton Turner, our former first round draft pick, the Saints drafted to be the defensive end. He's with Dallas. He's hurt right now. So how's that? I mean, you can't make this shit up with some of these players, man. So it's going to be interesting, man. But like I said, man, shout out to Trey and the rest of the fam, man. Trapstar 318. I see you, bro. Backwoods. Silent B. What's up, bro? Silent B Entertainment. Now, no, listen, I don't want disparage any of our more doubting Saints family members, the diehards that don't think. But I just wanted to kind of put some of those facts together for you about the team, and let's see what the team can do. That's what it comes down to. We have to see. Cartel says, Q, not sure if you noticed, but Kellen's very chess-like. Although it was tit for tat, there were several times Kellen ran and completed the same play after Sean Payton, excited for the season. Thank you, bro. All right. Yeah, he says, yep, Q, the analysts take on Saints Creed. And that's the job of the Who Dat Nation and the writers, of the family members, is to, when they hear articles, get in them comment sections and challenge these guys. You make them better that way. If, most reporters open those comment sections, you can report and question them about what they're talking about. Like, what are you talking about here? How are the Saints bad because they got two young quarterbacks? Are you not accounting for everybody else? This ain't the first. Like I said, fam, listen, we don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not saying all that. All I'm saying is that there are times where they had quarterbacks that were inexperienced or flat out rookies, and the team still won. Like the Washington Whataburgers did last year with Jaden Daniels. 2 years ago, what the Texans did with C.J. Stroud. There's times when that happens, and it's more than just that at play. And both the times when they had success is because they had a system and a game plan for their offense and for their team. You have to have an identity to play behind. If you don't have, and if the Saints can get that fast and they can develop that identity, then they're gonna really pick up some wins. That's the bottom line. You have to have an identity to stick to. You have to have something that galvanizes the mindset of the team. An identity is a collective conscience of the Saints. If everybody's mindset is the same, then we all are on the same wavelength, on the same vibration. That means we're all moving toward the same goal, and that's the win. And it's just that much specific, that much dialed in, that much thorough, when all of these players are on the same collective conscious and they know what the identity is, and they're feeling and they're drawing strength from that identity, regardless of what they go through on the football field, meaning environment or the team they play or whatever's happening to them. They'll play behind the strength of the identity, the toughness, the mindset, and that will drive them through, even to our backups. So, that's the importance of having a singular collective conscious on what we are as a team. And we did not have that shit. And you can't discount that if you talk about winning games. All these other people that's winning these games, whether it's the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, and any other team that's picking up wins and winning football, repetitively and consistently, have an identity that's true to the team, and they honor it. You cannot win if you do not have it. And we did not have that the last 4 years. That's the truth. All right, anyway, I ain't gonna hold y'all too much longer. Orlando says, what up, Q? You doing? He says, you doing requests? I got a Cowboys podcast. Okay, Orlando, what's the name? Shout them out in the chat, bro. Who's the Cowboys podcaster? I don't think we even played the Cowboys this year. We had a brother the last time around that was on there. That brother was really fun. He was popping off at the Who Dat Nation people and discounting the Saints, and then we kicked their teeth in, and then he was on there bucking his eyes. I thought that was so funny. Y'all remember that? Put one in the chat. What's up, Muse? Shout out to Muse 985J in the building. What's up, my brother? Shout out to you as well. Yeah, man, we had a good time, bro. Yeah, last year, Jawan and Kyle Pitts. That's right. And that's the whole thing, man. We was, having fun with that. Kicked the Cowboys' teeth in last year, man. That was fun. Yeah, that was pretty cool. All right. Anyway, man, listen, Let's see. Cass TJA. So what was JT Gray doing again? He was not. I think it's not known, but it was known that he was dealing with an injury. Going into the regular season, and the Saints, decided to go in a different direction. But listen, we talked about this early in the stream. It's nothing different about about that, right? We know that a new coach is going to do things a little bit differently, and we know JT Gray been here for 8 years. Climbed up through the ranks. He did a lot of positive stuff here, but JT is in the long line of Saints dynamos at the special teams side of things that done it before. I mentioned Chris Banjo. I mentioned Justin Hardy and JT Gray. The Saints will find another player that's phenomenal, and my thinking is more than likely it'll be somebody like Stallbird or Jalen Ford. Those guys are really good on the special teams too. Nephi Sewell, who's on the practice squad, but like I said, man, it's a lot of players that that really showed out for Kellen Moore to say, you know what, we can go in this different direction. A new coach is going to do shit differently, man. So, and I applaud that. So it's going to be interesting going forward, man. All right, Big O. What's up, John? Shout out to you, brother. Muse says, got to get back to work. All right, Muse, appreciate you for stopping by, sweetheart. And the rest of the fam, listen, man, I thank y'all, man, so much. Doc 54 says national media is especially when it comes to the Saints and then this small market team. They always talk about doing bullshit. All right, what's up, Always Them and Black Suede, my dog Black Suede on IG. Shout out to you, my brother. Good to see you on IG, bro. Shout out to you. All right, my dog Suede's in the building now listening. All right, King Eternal says Juwan needs to not get the. That's true too. He did that in preseason, man. That's lazy. Juwan Johnson, instead of moving them feet, he gonna grab the guy. Yeah, Juwan, you can't do that, brother. You got to move your feet. You got to get in position. You got to handle your business, But like I said, man, Juwan Johnson got that money. He had 50 catches last year and averaged 11 yards per catch. He had 3 touchdowns. They're paying him $10 million a year. Them numbers got to go up. We got to be he got to get to the 65, 70 parameter. That's what I'm saying. That's where you need to be at, up in that area. All right. Yeah, Gunnam says my Lord, the hate and disrespect for Spencer Rattler. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with the Spencer Rattler thing with some of these cats. I don't know what's going on with the Spencer Rattler thing. Like Spencer wasn't the guy I would have chose with my draft pick, but that's the great thing about when you pick up some of these players and you get to learn who they are and and you get to hear their messages and see their work ethic, and they earn your respect. And guys like Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck, you see these young players out there putting their work in, taking the bows and arrows and everything, and just remaining positive and keeping their head down and working. You gotta that's respectful. That's respectful. These guys earn my respect. So you got to give these guys an opportunity to perform. Bottom line. All right. Jake says Rattler about to go off this Sunday. All right. Yeah, let me see. Muse said, what's the IG name? The IG Instagram is A Pro's Life. Should be in the link in the description section. A Pro's Life is my IG. All right. Randy, what's up, Randy? Says Q, the new guy we picked up who was supposed to replace Taysom runs a 4. Yeah, I know 4.39. We covered it in the early in the show, bro. Yeah, the Saints tried out Jerry Rice's son, and I was like, okay, let me look at how fast Jerry Rice's son is. Brendan Rice, I think the man's name is, and he was a 4.50. He too damn slow to be on the team. Yeah, you too slow, brother. Our receivers got to be. They got to be some quick people. And that shows what he trying to do. He just bringing in speed, man. And the man is a lot of the people kind of make him like a Wes Welker type, because he catches the ball because he's an overall athlete. Like he can throw the ball and he's really fast, but he's not built like Taysom. Taysom's like 6'2", 235 pounds. This kid's like 6 feet, 208 pounds. He looks like a wide receiver, but he can do a lot of different things for you. And it's good having guys that versatile. But yeah, he obviously, Kellen Moore is showing you that he values speed, and he's trying to make the Saints offense the fastest offense in the NFL. And I think that's awesome. All right, King Eternal says Rattler, in my opinion, was a sneaky steal in the draft. He gonna play behind it too. This is opportunity. We're here, like we talked about Spencer Rattler going into the preseason. I mean, training camp, then preseason. It was the battle. Kellen Moore could have put Tyler Shuck over the team, but he decided to give it to Spencer Rattler. He wanted to see what Spence could do. And if Spence, after 2 or 3 games, doesn't look well, I want to see him in 4 games. But if he struggles mightily, you might see Tyler Shuck early, but I don't see that happening. Like, I see a fast offense. I think he benefits for a fast offense. I think that's what the Saints need to kind of be on that wavelength. Like, we have a rhythm, a tempo to our offense. We press guys, we press the defense, we fast, we force them to get to get on the dime. We find the mismatches with those that 3 and 4 tight cornerback. Those guys aren't even supposed to be those special team guys that can't cover a bed. You find the mismatches there. They're not experienced on the field. They losing where they are, and we taking the tops off. I think that's a good way to start off with the speed of your offense. I think that's a good thing. All right. Anyway, man, let me get ready to get on up out of here. Shout out to you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the sub button, and the share button, fam. Much love to you guys. Do me a service here. Just know that I'll be back on Patreon tomorrow, man, for the family members, our YouTube membership and Patreon champion family. Like I said, Patreon has a new feature where you can go live. That's something that we had issues with, but they actually have a new feature where we'll be going live on Patreon, man. I think that's a real cool feature. So you guys will see on Tuesday, we'll cover all the latest news. We'll get even more thorough breakdowns on some of these players. And of course, the Saints have an opportunity picking up guys on Monday to bring kind of fill out the practice squad, get stuff together. They're obviously prepping for Sunday's matchup against the Arizona Cardinals, getting the practice in. We'll hear from all that going on throughout the day for Tuesday on our Patreon special. So if you want to join, you can see the links in the description section below. All the links are there. You can go in the comments section or the description section. Everything's there. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to get out, man. I'm going to give me some rest, y'all. Y'all be good. I'm going to holler at y'all on tomorrow on Patreon, and for the rest of the family back on Wednesday. Much love. Who Dat to you? Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Long as I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. I'm a Who Dat. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shame for the championship. Fucking on town, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy, then you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, brother like this, and I'm a Who Dat. Every day I'm living, I'm a Who Dat. Lose or winning, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a Who Dat. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shop and Who Dat.